Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even gonna wait for my laptop to start like loading this stuff in. It's been a minute since I even used it. Y'all know I got like a 1984 like Camaro when it comes to freaking laptops. I just want to get started, man. I'm throwing on this live stream. I know the last preseason game is going on between Seattle and Connecticut. Connecticut Sun. The Sun, I don't even know who they're fielding at this point because damn near everybody's out for that team. I want to give a shout out and send my condolences to the Rivers family and Sanaya Rivers. Um, that's an unimaginable loss, and I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to imagine, what that's like. So I want to give her and her family my best. Um, and now I actually want to jump into whatever the hell is going on, bro. Because I just feel like I could milk this. I could milk like the last week or the last 10 days of women's basketball, women's college basketball, but more so specifically the WNBA because that's where we are now. I really could give a damn less about women's college basketball. However, what's been popping off recently, especially what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, I hey that might deserve its own video, but I really just want to, use this video to just capture everything, bro, because we're just talking about the WNBA right now. It's preseason. I got to get off social media because you guys are some of y'all are confusing as hell, bro. Like I don't think these fans know that it's preseason. Like it's preseason, guys. I'm all I'm all for the engagement. I'm all for the energy that people are ready for this season and kick off. But guys, it's preseason. And I don't even think some of these coaches understand that it's preseason either. Why are the starters playing so many minutes? I see starters in the game in the third quarter. What are we doing? Have you not seen what's been happening in the WNBA these past few weeks? Like why are your starters playing in the third and fourth quarter? Coach Steph White, why is Sophie Cunningham in the game so late? You have other rooks to play. Yes, I get okay, you might have made up your mind. Team might have made up their mind already that they're gonna get cut. You already know who's gonna get cut. Fine, whatever, cool. But hello, Sophie Cunningham is not like she is a solid role player. I mean, her role on this team is probably going to be role player, right? But Sophie Cunningham starts on most teams. And if you remember when most of the Phoenix Mercury were like injured when she was there, she was holding it down. Like she was putting up numbers. So she can damn near be a second or third option on a team, and you got her running around the fourth quarter like she not important. If you don't sit her down, I don't even know what these coaches are doing, man. Like it's weird to me. Like let the fans go off. Like fans are gonna go off. It's preseason. Everyone may yada yada. Everybody want their player to make it. Some players are like, oh, roster spot secured after one performance, and it's just like, bro, she already had that roster spot anyway. You feel me? But while we're on that topic, let me give a shout out to my Mystics. You know what I'm saying? My newest Mystics. My newest Misties. My newest Mystic. Sonia Citron. First of all, Sonia Citron was bound to make the team. She was damn near a lottery pick. Like she was not going to be cut. I would be surprised if she would have gotten cut. But Sonia Citron was always going to make that team. And yes, she was able to give y'all just a glimpse, just a little flash, you know what I'm saying, of what the season is probably going to be like, especially since now no Georgia Amore. She's probably going to have she's probably, apart from Paige and maybe Dominique Malonga, Sonia Citron might have the biggest green light in terms of rookies. She might have a top three green light in terms of rookies. Now, I would throw Aaliyah Nye up there too, but I don't know what type of timing Becky Hammond is going to be on in terms of Aaliyah Nye. Because yes, and I said this before when we were reacting to the draft. I said, how the hell do you let the Las Vegas Aces pick up the best shooter in the draft? And y'all know this. Y'all know this. If you follow my channel, you know this. I want to shout out all my loyal viewers and all my returning viewers, because remember, I did tell y'all that Tahina Pow Pow wasn't the best shooter when everyone was raving about Pow Pow this, Pow Pow that. I told you she wasn't the best shooter, right? And I told y'all Leah Nye was the best shooter, and I told y'all as well that if the New York Liberty if we still had the seventh pick, I would have loved to go after Sarah Ashley Barker, a Maddie Westbeld, or an Aaliyah Nye. Space the hell out that floor, right? And y'all let the Aces pick up the best shooter in the draft. They may be the best shooter in the next couple of drafts. And then there's like again the comments, oh, roster spot secured, bruh. I don't like, yeah, there's a chance she might not make it, but I don't think Becky Hammond is going to let the best shooter in the draft or the best shooter in the country walk. Aaliyah Nye is a 45% 3-point shooter. I'll say that. Aaliyah Nye is a 45% 3-point shooter. There's a very good chance. I don't know how many minimum shots you have to have in order to go 50, 40, 90. What is it? Maybe like 100 or maybe 150 attempts to like qualify as. Well, I don't think it matters. Like you can go 50, 40, 90 if you put up 90 shots, but usually there's a number like you have to pass to get that actual credit for going 50, 40, 90. You feel me? There's a chance Aaliyah Nye does that this season. If given that green light, because think about it, if she's shooting a high percentage from three, if she's knocking down like 40% of her threes, that's going to boost her field goal percentage anyway. And then if she shoots 90% at the line, which she could very well do, it might be wraps. So give me a second. I'm pulling up, the YouTube link. I'm pulling up the YouTube page. I'm gonna see who's in here. I'm gonna see who's leaving comments and stuff like that. And then we're gonna get further on into this video. This live stream. Let me tell you all the theme of this live stream. This live stream was just shooting the shit about preseason. But I'm also going to throw in my WNBA predictions. And I think for my video, I'll just do separately my WNBA predictions in terms of the season and who I think is going to make the playoffs, who's not going to make the playoffs. I made a really good list. I think I made a really good list. But let me just clear this up real quick, and then I'll hop back into it. Hold on, I got to go on mute real quick. Almost blew my hip out. All right, let me. Almost blew my hip, bad blue. Y'all know how we do. Out here at Total Wines and Moors. All right, let me just say. Shouts out Lou Young. Yeah. So the list I made, what was I saying? I actually made I think I made the most spot on playoff prediction, and who's not going to make the playoffs too. And I actually tried, even though I didn't give a damn about the teams not making the playoffs out of that 8th spot. I think the list that I made is dead on accurate. And I even did the wins and losses for each teams, but those are really just references. I was just trying to show like what I think it's going to be, what type of season I think it's going to be in terms of the standings. What type of season it's going to be in the W in terms of the standings and where teams are going to end up. I don't think a lot of, I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this because again, I'm telling y'all, I've been on social media, I've been on IG, I've been on Twitter. The discourse is just, I don't know what we're doing, bro. This discourse is so weird. Like NBA discourse is usually like mad memes, critiques, and some good takes, a lot of stupid takes. WNBA discourse is just all over the place, bro. It's like so much shit going on, but maybe that's a good thing, you know? Because there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? Anyway, um, I don't hear a lot of people mentioning that this season might have the most parity ever in the WNBA. And I was thinking about doing a separate video for that, but I just, again, what do I always say? You heard it here first. This season might have the most parity in the WNBA. So follow me here because I'm basically about to give you my standings predictions anyway. You have the Aces, right? Now, why are the Aces going to be such a tough team this season? Because if they do what I think they're going to do and sign Queen Egbo, the three, I think they got three roster spots open. What I think is going to happen is the Aces are going to sign Queen Egbo, Liz Kitley, and Aaliyah Nye. I'm not too sure how safe Queen Egbo and Liz Kitley spots are. Like, I'm not sure how strong that those picks are. I just have the most confidence in Aaliyah Nye making the roster because you just can't pass up 45% from three. You feel me? You can't do that, right? So I'm really only confident about Aaliyah Nye, but I'm not sure what those other two spots are going to be because Becky Hammond could go Queen Egbo, Aaliyah Nye, Harmony Turner, cut Liz Kitley. But like, what's the chances of them cutting Liz Kitley? Or she could go Aaliyah Nye, Liz Kitley, Harmony Turner, cut Queen Egbo. But then if you cut Queen Egbo, it's like you're literally giving up the piece that could just make you OP or just could make you hard as hell to beat in a regular season game. So the reason I have the Aces, I'm bringing up the Aces first. I also have the Aces being the best team in the W this season because if you have those fives, obviously they like to play Kia Stokes, who's been in the Aces system for a while now, right? That's great, but I feel like Becky Hammond might figure out that Queen Egbo at the five might be your cheat code. But the more time Asia Wilson spends at the four, the more OP the Aces are or can get. You feel me? So if you have these backup fives all fighting it out for like that starting spot, that would low key be a good thing, especially for Becky Hammond, since now it doesn't matter. Asia Wilson's going to be at the four. And then if you want, maybe you have Kia Stokes and Queen Egbo battling for that five spot, and then you have Asia Wilson basically taking Liz Kitley under wing at that four spot. You see what I'm saying? Like you can go either way, but if Asia Wilson's at that four, the league's kind of effed. You feel me? So that's why I have the Aces having the best record next season. Well, sorry, this season. I have them at number one. I don't really want to go all the way down the list, but again, I'm just explaining why I think this season's going to have the most parity. You go to a team like Minnesota. Minnesota's going to be on a revenge tour type season. Minnesota, I think, is going to struggle more this season just because I'm not sure how that one star team build is going to play out. Like, we have to remember last season had teams weren't built to compete really last season. Last season was a really top heavy season. Like New York, like we had 32 wins. Like it was a top heavy. You had New York, Soda, Connecticut Sun, Las Vegas. It was a top, and then you had Seattle Storm, what, fifth, right? 25 wins. And then I think Indiana after that. It was a top heavy season last year. That's not going to be the case this year. So here you have Minnesota. A lot of teams now have, oh yeah, I should put out this point, but a lot of teams now have two stars, right? A lot of teams have two stars. A lot of teams have two bigs. So even just the roster creation even if you might not have the stars, you have the personnel that can challenge these other teams. And I think Minnesota is going to struggle this season because I just don't know how that one-star lineup's going to hold up. Trust it's still going to be potent because those role players around Fee are great. They could go to any other team and start. You have a great anchor in. Pretty sure they're bringing back Jay Shep, or someone's going to get cut. Maybe Jessica Shepard might get cut because last time I checked, Minnesota has no open spots. Like they have not one spot open. Like there's no space. There was no reason for them to even draft. But I'm not sure how that one-star system is going to hold up. Trust it's going to work. I'm not saying that Soda is going to be a bad team. In my projected standings, I had Minnesota fourth. So there's going to be I think there's going to be a little drop off, but the fact that they're still like one of the best teams in terms of like actual team play and organization, they're still going to be a top tier team. You feel me? So you have the Aces, you have Minnesota, you have Indiana when they figure it out. Indiana won 20 games last season. They went 20-20. They went 500 last season. You add DeWanna Bonner, who I'm not trying to judge off preseason like some of y'all, but yeah, I won't say it, but just know I could say something. You feel me? But you're still adding an all-star in DeWanna Bonner, a defensive player, an all-star in Natasha Howard. You're adding that to a 20-win team. You're going to be better, right? I don't know how many wins that can account for, but I'm willing to bet that the Indiana Fever, with 44 games in a season, they're probably going to add on at least 5 more wins. Yes. At least 5 more wins. So at the very least, they're going 25-19, right? I'm pretty sure DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Michaela Timpson, hopefully, eventually, is good enough to add at least 5 more wins to the Indiana Fever total. So they're going to be a top-tier team as well. When they figure that out, when I was drawing up the projected standings, I had Indiana at 1 at one point. The only reason I didn't give them that 1 nod was because I didn't know what their defense was going to look like. And also, I truly believe that if Asia Wilson's at the 4, the Aces are just going to be tough to beat. And not even because the Aces would be doing anything. They would just they would simply be hard to get out of the way. You feel me? Like they could, on a bad night where none of them even feel like playing, just their personnel would just be hard to beat. You say like just them being out on the court would be hard to beat because you got Asia at the 4. Just their presence would be a problem. So that's why I put them at number 1. So if they're actually trying, it's probably not going to be fair either. But I had Indiana at number 1 at one point because I was just like, if they figure this out, think about that starting 5 for a second. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Leah Boston. That's very good balance. That's really good balance. And it's a great bench. If you were good enough for 20 wins last season, with these additions, you got to be at least good for 25. You feel me? You have to be at least good for 25. New York, we're always going to be in the mix just off of team build as well, but we're also adding one of the premier guards in the W and a guard that is levels above Courtney Vandersloot, in my opinion, does a little bit more than Courtney Vandersloot. You're giving us one of the best facilitators in the league. We need that. I really wish Coach Sandy would just allow Sab, because sometimes when Sab goes off ball, that's all she focuses on doing is just jacking threes. But I really wish we had this 2-player facilitating system. But nonetheless, you have Natasha Cloud, Sabrina Ionescu, Leonie Phoebish, Stewie, and JJ. That's a tough team, top-tier team. They won 32 games last season. I also believe there's going to be a drop-off. Yes, we're going to miss Benijah Laney Hamilton, but there's going to be a drop because the teams around them are going to be able to match up well with them. So let's take a Las Vegas Aces just for example. You have a five that you can put on JJ now. You obviously gonna have a four. AJ's probably gonna bully Brianna Story. Let's just call it what it is. But now you're also able to match up well with them. The Aces still don't have like a wing, like a Leone Phoebus type wing, so we might still have the advantage there. But understand those matchups, you're going to be able to match with teams better. There are more teams in the W this season that are going to be able to match with us better than last season. Because last season, a lot of the time, we just out-talented teams. A lot of our wins were just us out-talenting teams. But the way some teams are built now, they're able to at least, I don't know if they're going to compete, but they're able to at least match up well with us. So there you have the Liberty, you have the Aces, you have Soda, you have Indiana, Seattle. They might be riding talent as the season goes on, but you're adding a generational talent in Dominique Malonga, and you already have great pieces around them as well. They could use a couple more young pieces. I have Gabby Williams, by the way. I think, well, I said this before. I said this in my head, actually. I think the defensive player of the year is coming out of Seattle this season. I think it's either going to be Ezzy or Gabby Williams. I need Gabby Williams to have a super ultra green beam, green light this season because I believe Gabby Williams could be an MVP candidate if she would just shoot the three, bro. Them shits don't even have to go in. Just shoot the three, Gabby. You're like half a god. Like just shoot the three. You don't have to do anything else. Just shoot the three and you might be MVP. That's what I expect from Seattle this season. But you have to take that Seattle team that, maybe if cut some of the toxicity in half, if you will, and then added Dominique Malonga. That's a tough squad. They might F around and still be middle of the pack again, but there's a chance that they might be a top tier team. Maybe kick Soda out, kick Indiana out. You feel me? So once again, now we have 5 teams, parity, 6. Let's go on to the Atlanta Dream. I'm basically just going down my standings projection at this point. Atlanta Dream, I don't know how the hell they're going to play this or construct this squad, because are you telling me Brianna Jones might be at the 4, Brittany Griner at the 5, but even if you are going to do that, Jordan Canada, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray as your 3, 1 through 3, and then you have Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner. That's good enough. That's good enough to beat up on a couple of teams. I don't know where they would be, but I just think they would be kind of in the middle of the pack because we just don't know how that would roll out. That 2 big system, and it's Brianna Jones, and because Brianna Jones is really a 5, but if you're going to play them, she's going to have to play the 4. We don't know what that team looks like, and we don't know if you could outpace that team, but I think they might do enough just talent-wise, just roster build-wise to be able to compete. And then at 7, I had the Chicago Sky. I really am going through my list right now. At 7, I had the Chicago Sky. Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, as rookies, were able to take a rebuilding franchise and damn near launch them into the playoffs. With the added pieces around them, they should be good to make the playoffs this season. Why? Because it's not going to be so much about beating the teams above them, but they're going to be good enough to beat all the teams below them. So they can be stacking wins against, the Mystics might be a tough cover. We'll get to that. But they could be stacking wins against the Sun, the Valkyries, the Wings, the Mystics. I'm forgetting another team. I always do this. But they could be stacking wins against them. You feel me? They might grab a couple of wins off of some of the top tier teams because they match up so well. You got Sloot. Ariel Atkins, who levels this team. I don't know. Does Michaela Onyenwere go to the bench? I don't know. Hopefully not. But you got Rebecca Allen. You have like 2 of the best 3s in the game, really. Like Rebecca Allen was like Leo before Leo. You feel me? Like, as my New York Liberty fan, you know what the hell I'm talking about, right? Like, we love Rebecca Allen over here, but she was basically like our Leo before Leo. So you have Sloot, Ariel Atkins. There's a chance, I was talking to a fan on this channel, there's a chance that I'm also hoping that Haley Van Lith ends up becoming the starter this season. I slim chance, but if Haley hooping, think about this. If Haley's hooping, there's a chance she could be starting. Plus, let's be real here. I wish I could do polls and stuff like this in the chat, but let's be real here. There's a chance Haley Van Lith gets a few starts this season. And I'm pretty sure the Chicago Sky have made their selections. They waived a couple of their players. What was her name? Bowler. They waived Arella Garantis, unfortunately. It's bittersweet for me because I told you I wanted HVL, Maddie, and Arella Garantis to make the team. I don't know what's going on with Arella. Like she's such a killer overseas, bruh. She's such a killer overseas, but like when she comes to the WNBA, she plays so like tentatively. You feel me? And I think Chicago also cut Sam Puisis or so, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering her name, but they've basically confirmed that they're. Plus, they were selling Haley Van Lith and Maddie Westbelt jerseys. So I know Ty Marsh. I know Coach Marsh is sold on Maddie Westbelt, and I'm glad somebody sees that. I'm like, because y'all know me, big Maddie the Stallion fan. I'm glad somebody sees that Maddie Westbelt is like she's one of the players that should be on a WNBA roster, and a lot of players that should be on a WNBA roster aren't going to be on WNBA rosters. So here you have Chicago, Sloot, potentially Haley Van Lith, Ariel Atkins, one of the best twos in the league, Rebecca Allen, and maybe Michaela Onyenwere backing her up, or they start one benches. You get what I'm saying? And then you have Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso as in your franchise skyscrapers who damn near push you into the playoffs. You should be good for an improvement this season because you match up well with some of the top tier teams. You should be beating up on all of the lower tier teams. So you should be able to improve on what you did last season. Now, if you're improving on what you did last season, you should be in the playoffs at that 7th spot. Now, at my 8th spot, just creeping into the playoffs, I think a lot of us are overrating the Dallas Swings because the Dallas Swings, I'm going to give them an answer right now. They need a 3. I don't know what their big situation looks like, and I really don't know how many games Paige can generate into wins. I haven't been able to pinpoint how many wins Paige can account for. And this pisses me off for one of two reasons. One, because WNBA, I'm going back, I'm going to throw this back like 3 months ago, right? WNBA, you had one job. That job was to get Paige Beckers to LA. You think it's a coincidence Victor Wembanyama ends up going to the Spurs? The Pistons were sucking, you know what I'm saying, for 2 straight seasons. Should have clearly won the draft lottery. And who won it? The San Antonio Spurs. You gotta finesse, bruh. That is the time where this is why some people just don't take the WNBA seriously. And it sounds so weird. It's like do something illegal. And it's just like this is why people think the WNBA, and when I mean people, I'm really talking about myself. But this is why people just find you as a ghost organization. This is the finesse that you're supposed to do. People want how many UConn fans would probably make LA get a practice facility just because Paige is going there. You probably have UConn fans pulling up to build it themselves. You'd probably have Paige's sponsors facilitating the new facility. How the hell you miss that? How do you miss that? That's y'all. We all know businesses be FOS, man. Y'all all know politics be in these businesses. That's the time where you gotta finesse, bruh. Paige Beckers to LA sounds levels better than Paige Beckers to Dallas. She's gonna get that support wherever she goes, obviously. But now look. The Dallas Wings won 9 games last season. Obviously, they had a tumultuous season. Satu Sabali was out for a lot of it. They won 9 games, bro. Arike and Gumbawale and that entire big system with Natasha Howard, Kalani Brown, Big T, Tierra McCowan. We all know how that. It just wasn't looking good. And that was for 9 wins. But just because Paige is there, it should get better, right? It should get better. That big situation, they still need to figure out. And I can tell you what's going to hurt Dallas. And this is the number one reason they need to sign Madison Scott, who they also drafted, is because y'all not going anywhere without a 3. So you might as well pick up Madison Scott. You low-key need to pick up Madison Scott. Like, I don't even think Dallas has a choice. Like, you need to pick up Madison Scott. Last I checked, you don't have a wing. And what are you going to do? Dejanay Carrington, Paige Beckers, Arike Gumbawale? No. No, who's your wing? Who's your wing? You going to put Dejanay at the wing position so she can foul out in 2 minutes? No. You need to pick up a wing. Dallas is, I think, 9 wins last season. New system, new coach, new generational talent in Paige Beckers. They should be good for at least 9 more wins. You see how I'm doing the math here? You feel me? Like, you see how I'm doing the math here? They should be at least good for 9 more wins. They're not going to improve much. Expect them to have a losing record. Please prove me wrong. I hope you prove me wrong. But I don't see them doing much this season like last season. And that's the second reason, by the way. Madison Scott, like, I don't know if the Dallas Wings understand that they need a wing. And that's the second reason that's pissing me off. The first reason is because the W should have finessed Paige to LA. Second reason is I don't know if the Dallas Wings understand that you have no choice but to sign Madison Scott. I don't remember how many roster spots Dallas has, but one of them needs to be Madison Scott. Okay, that's how it's gonna go for in terms of my WNBA standings predictions and projections. I basically just broke it down for you guys, and I'll probably clip this and make a video out of it. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the awards because I'm still kind of calculating certain things. I did tell y'all I think the Defensive Player of the Year is going to come out of Seattle this season. In terms of MVP, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say Caitlin Clark, but I will say that she has damn near everything set up for her to win MVP. Like, she has a record that she's going to improve on this season. She has better teammates this season. She's still going to be the focal point of a better offense, most likely. She has improvements she can do herself. She's no longer a rookie. Like, she has everything, like, in her favor this season. You feel me? So I can understand why she's the favorite, but I'm not going to jump out and say, like, oh, I think Caitlin Clark's going to win MVP this season. I'm not sure yet. There are only a couple of things I'm actually sure on. You feel me? But anyway, that's just my WNBA standings projection. I'll flip this back to our preseason coverage now. I might talk about the awards a little bit more, but let me go ahead and read some of the comments because I do see that there's some comments here. If you're enjoying the live stream, guys, if you find it at least informative, you know what I'm saying, I don't do this for entertainment. I really just do this just to talk hoops. Drop a comment, man. Let me know what y'all thinking. I want to see hot takes in the comment section. I want to see bad takes. I want to see good takes. Level up the chat. Drop a like if y'all enjoying the live stream right now. I'm a read some comments, but I think it's only Demonat in here. What's up, Demonat? Appreciate you checking out. Oh shit. Actually, you know what? Let me change this because it says top chat. Let me change it to live to make sure I see. Okay. So we're still good. Yo, Demonat, you might have to let me know. Are you who's your team? Are you Chicago Sky? Is your team Chicago Sky? I was confused. I assume she wants to get them burned for when the season starts. Maybe the starters won't play at all in their final preseason game. Yeah, that's most likely going to happen as well. But I'm still like, you don't need much. Sky fan, okay. You don't need much to like fourth quarter is kind of wild. Like third, fourth quarter is kind of wild. And I saw it today again too when they were playing the Brazilian team. By the way, the WNBA just did the Brazilian team so dirty, bro. I was over here thinking the Brazilian team, I'm just like, cool. They played two preseason games against some WNBA teams. I'm just like, cool. They're probably getting a nice penny for this as well. Turns out their accommodations were I swear it's hard to defend the W sometimes, bro. It really is hard. What do we have? Like only two international teams playing in our preseason playing in preseason this year. I believe only two, right? You telling me the W couldn't give them proper accommodations, chartered flights just to get them from city to city? They played I don't think it was a was it back to back? I think it was one day split. They played two games in 3 days. And you're telling me they had to travel, wake up 5 a.m., take two flights to go from Chicago to Iowa for this game today? W, you couldn't make an accommodation for this team? That's that is insane. How much would it have taken just resource wise to help this team out and make their entire preseason process seamless? There's no way you just subject like that is WNBA treatment right there, boy. And y'all swear the WNBA is a real organization, bro. Like y'all forget I am Jamaican, boy. I know a ghost organization when I see one. Okay, jeez, Louise, bro. That's Christ, brother. Anyway, let me keep reading comments, bro. Every time I watch Citron, I regret that Atkins trade. We gave up too much. We'll see. Hmm. Huh. Sonia Citron to the Chicago Sky. I'm going to say I understand where you're coming from, but as of right now, I believe Ariel Atkins will be the better piece for Chicago right now because um you don't need any more players being led by Angel Reese. Okay. I don't even know who the hell the voice is on the Chicago Sky, but something tells me it's better if it's not Angel Reese. Not saying I have a problem. Sorry. Not saying there's anything wrong with Angel Reese being a vocal leader, but she shouldn't be the main voice. You feel what I'm saying? If Sonia Citron went to Chicago, if this was still a super young team, Haley Van Lith, Sonia Citron, whoever else they would have picked up at the what was their other pick, like 10th or something, or they traded for that. They traded for the 11th, right? If this was a super young team and they had to follow like Angel Reese's leadership, I just would be like, yeah, it might go well. You might still get pushed into the playoffs, but that bro. Yeah, Sloot's probably going to be the biggest voice, that's for sure. Um, but again, you're talking to Ariel Atkins, man. This is one of the best twos in the W. She also is a WNBA champion, along with one with the Mystics 2019 squad. That 2019 Mystic squad goaded, boy. But Sloot, WNBA champion, that's better. It's better to have those voices. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of missing that last season, right? Again, I don't there's not a problem. I don't have a problem with Angel being a voice, but she can't be the voice. I'm saying she like Reese. As much as I love Angel, she not built like that yet. Like she not built like that yet. Yet I will let you know. I will let you know. I promise you. I promise you. I'll promise you because a lot of media and a lot of fans are going to be really, really eager to say, "Oh, they took that next step." I'll let you know when they. I'll let you know when the skyscrapers take that next step. I'll let you know when that happens. Is it ain't trust. It ain't gonna be anytime soon. All right. Let me finish reading your comment real quick, and then I'll get it back into the preseason. I think Maddie Westfeld makes a team. Morgan Barish has been playing so well in practice. I'm worried. Final roster spot is between the stretch fours, Maddie and Morgan. Okay. Okay. You know what? That makes sense. That makes sense. They did. I'm interested in what you think about. Uh, Morgan was there last year, right? And she got cut. I'm interested in what you think about Maddie Westbeld or the team selling Maddie Westbeld jerseys. Because from what I've seen, that's not a guarantee that this player has made the team. Because I don't even know if they did the same with Morgan last season. So what do you think about the Sky selling Maddie Westbeld jerseys? Do you think they've already made up their mind, or they're just cashing in? Yeah. But let me go back to the preseason real quick. I know I already touched on this, and I don't want to keep this as too long of a stream, but should I wipe my camera? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Should I wipe this? It's kind of looking fuzzy. All right. So in terms of preseason, bro, a lot of people need to relax. Like, just relax. My whole thing with preseason is just safety. You feel me? Get out of preseason. Make out of preseason healthy. We should not, with what's going on in terms of the injuries that's happened and Georgia Amore, like, y'all don't know how much that blows. Freaking not having Georgia this season for the Mystics, bro. It was going to be Georgia, Sony, Kiki, Leah Edwards. That Mystic squad might beat out the Wings for that final playoff spot. There's a chance that the Mystics, remember, even when they were playing like booty last season, they almost made the playoffs. They weren't too far off. That's like this was supposed to be our squad. I was I was ready. I don't even think she would have gone like too crazy, but I was just ready for Georgia Amore to. I wanted. We needed a point guard, bro. We needed a point guard, and now you kind of have what the Mystics had earlier too, which is the insane part. I don't know what Stephanie Dolson's role on this team is. Like she's still starting at the five. I just don't know. It's tough. I'd be a super hater with Steph starting, but Steph over here smacking like 40% of her threes. Like she was actually knocking. Like I guess Steph is stretch five now. That can work because she's still a big body. Um, but you low key have an ill setup with this team. But I would feel a little bit more confident in Steph being moved to the bench. But like it's kind of hard for anyone to make that decision when she's shooting that well. You feel me? But my ideal starting lineup for the Mystics would be Shakira Austin, Aaliyah Edwards as the front court, Slim as the three, Sony as the two. So now you have two great perimeter players, and Sony shoots probably a lot better than Sykes, but Sykes can get a bucket. They can both get a bucket, and then you would just need like a perennial point guard. You damn near can get flexible with the point guard position now because you have two great wings. You feel me? And maybe I don't know if Georgia Amore was going to be the best for that spot, but she would definitely be great right off the bat for that team because she can get a bucket herself and she can facilitate. You feel me? Like that setup is perfect. But I'm like damn near getting greedy for DC because now I want DC to like go get Arella Garantes. She's one of the players where it's just like again, there's no reason why a player like Arella Garantes shouldn't be on a team. But I was thinking, bro, like put Aurela Garantes at the one, you have a mismatch every night. It's like Luka Doncic, every team he plays against scrambles the other team's lineup because you have a mismatch every night. Imagine Aurela Garantes as the one. She's not a Brittany Sykes level type defender, but she plays good defense where you can have now three perimeter threats, two interior threats, a facilitator, good defense, great defense on your wings, a great point guard who remains a threat. So now you have to check, you keep the one busy, right? Now you have to check that point guard. You can't just, it opens up everything. When you have to pay so much attention to that point guard, when the initial part of the offense demands so much attention, imagine what Sony can do now. Right now, Sony's one on one, which is great because I don't know, I haven't seen Sony in a handle like scouts yet, obviously, right? But now you leave Brittany Sykes one on one. Now you leave Shakira Austin one on one. Now you leave Aaliyah Edwards one on one. So DC really needs that point guard, bro. So again, I do think yes, Georgia Amore would have I would have loved to see what that looked like. But I'm just like I'm over here like yo, go pick up Garantes, bro. And just you have an OP lineup right there and then, and you have a nice bench. Mystics are going to be on to something like soon. Mystics in the Chicago Sky, I think they're going to be like the top of the low tier teams that actually take off sooner or later. Chicago's whole plan is basically nurture, but after Ariel Atkins, you're going to have to find a two. You're going to have to find a two to like lift that team because I don't know who is behind Ariel Atkins. Who's behind Ariel Atkins again? Let me know in the chat. Sky wants Maddie to make the team. GM Jeff has been talking about her before and after the draft. GM is always around practice with when Van Lith and Maddie are doing post practice shooting. Hey, listen, there are very valid reasons to be high on Maddie Westbeld. So I think again, I told you this too. The crazy thing is, again, y'all heard it here first. Scan my channel. Who was in my top five? Was it top five? Yeah, who was in my top five most what was it? It wasn't entertaining, but my top five players I was most excited to watch last college season or this latest college season. Maddie Westbeld was there. I told you that's my shorty. That's my shorty. That's a shooter. Like, oh, Maddie Westbeld injured. Yeah. so look at Maddie Westbeld can have one leg. I'm still drafting her. Like, what the hell? You don't shoot like that. You don't shoot out of any unorthodox set footwork position and cash money that like, nah, you getting drafted. You getting drafted. There's no way you pass on that. You can't have teams passing on that. It's damn near as wild as teams passing on Aaliyah Nye. I told y'all there was a chance Aaliyah Nye should have been going first round. And apart from some of these overseas stash and draft and stash picks, I was just like, Aaliyah Nye should have gone first round. So it's not really a coincidence that she went first pick in the second round. But yeah, let me see. I keep getting sidetracked. Let me get back to the preseason. The only good thing about some of these injuries in preseason is that other players are going to get a spot. So I want to send like, as someone recovering from a major injury as well, I want to send like healing and a very healthy recovery to all the players that have suffered an injury. I really do want to give them like all the best, healing wishes, healing benefits, prayers, all that, because it's not easy. It's not an easy process. It's not fun not being able to do something that brings you joy, especially like athletically. Like, it's not fun not being able to shoot a basketball. And for me, that's just for me personally, it's not fun. So I can imagine what it's like to not even be able to like walk or run the same. You feel me? So I want to give my best to that. Trying to make light of all these injuries is that other players do now get an opportunity that they should have anyway, but aren't don't usually get just because of the company that is the WNBA. You feel me? A lot of these players should get these opportunities regardless, right? But with these injuries, at least the bright side of that is that some of these players are now able to get some burn at least, or potentially make a roster spot. Don't ask me what's going on with Cheyenne Sellers. I don't know. I don't know. But here's what I do know about the Golden State Valkyries. They, I haven't liked the rollout of this team any freaking way. You feel me? I haven't liked the rollout of this team. I already told y'all I thought the expansion draft was stupid because you have all of these players who have been cut from WNBA rosters. What the hell do you need an expansion draft for? You feel me? This is what y'all know I said this. What do you need an expansion draft for? There are mad players waiting for their name to be called. You could fill your entire team, or at least fill your entire training camp roster with players that have been cut before. What do you need to pull from this? Like, this is so stupid. Like, this isn't the 80s. You don't need to, this isn't the NBA in the 80s. You don't need to pull from anything. What are you pulling from? Just sign these players who've been cut to training camp contracts. You've been an organization in the works for a couple years now. You don't have your eyes on some players. That was my entire thing. Because if I'm in the Valkyries like front office, I probably have a couple of players already in mind that I want to at least sign to a training camp contract. Come work out for us, or at least try to make the team. I'm Me personally, if I was that high up in the Valkyries front office, I'd be like, no, like screw the expansion. We don't need we don't need that expansion draft. We don't need no expansion draft. Oh, what? So I can pick bench players from other teams? No, like I'm pretty sure I got stars overseas over here that would love to come play for this franchise. I got players that got cut, still trying to find their way in life. That'd love to pick up a basketball, come play professionally. Throw that on their resume. The hell I need an expansion draft for? So from the beginning, I haven't really liked any of this rollout with the new team. Like, are we gonna have two new expansion drafts in next year when we already are cutting what 70 players? Didn't they say like the equivalent of 12? No, the equivalent of like 9 full WNBA teams will be cut this season after training camp. What you need? What we're gonna do? 2 expansion drafts? Hell no. Y'all better take that somewhere else. We don't need that. You don't need that. You got all these players cut already. Fill your team with that. Go after those players that have decided to play overseas and be like, yo, you still trying to play in the W? There are plenty of them. So again, right off the bat, I haven't really liked the rollout with the Golden State Valkyries anyway. And now we're hearing that Cheyenne Sellers has been healthy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with her knee. She got 2 medical reviews from the team in Maryland, which is a very top. Let me just say this: someone who graduated from the place is a very, very well-renowned medical team. Okay, so after that clearance, that no one should be questioning anything really. But she got cleared by the UMD team, and then she also got cleared by the Valkyries and still got cut. Now, how do I know that? How did I know like to expect some BS? Because Cheyenne Sellers fell to the second round. And I told you, I'm like, this was a projected first round pick, right? And I said, you heard it here first. I said, I don't think a lot of GMs are high on the picks in this draft. That has to be the case. Look at how the GMs were moving iffy before the draft even started. I told y'all a lot of GMs weren't high on this draft. They weren't high on a lot of the players in this draft. So as much as it's confusing, because I'm just like, why draft her if you had really no interest? You didn't play her in a preseason game. According to the coach, I'm not going to try to pronounce her name because I might butcher it again. So just out of respect, just according to the coach, she said Cheyenne Sellers was doing everything right in camp. Why draft her then? Why waste her time? Like something's not adding up. But me personally, I couldn't care less about the math. I wasn't rocking with y'all from the beginning. Like not rocking with the Valkyries, but I wasn't rocking with the entire process from the beginning. Like you drafted her middle of the second round. Just don't draft her then. Like why are you wasting time? This is why I said this expansion draft is so stupid. Not because you're picking players from teams like you don't have to do that. That's so stupid. So now Cheyenne Sellers is caught up in this weird game. I don't know. That's why I have the Valks. Just the Valks, they're going to be fighting with the Sun for last place. They're not on much. You feel me? But that's really my sum of WNBA. But my summary of WNBA preseason: mad injuries, bright side, players might get an opportunity to step up. There's still politicking and politicking going on in the WNBA because a player like Cheyenne Sellers who is 100% medically cleared is getting cut from a team. Now it'll be interesting to see what happens to Caitlin Chen. Is she making the team? Because if Caitlin Chen makes the team and Sean So doesn't, then we have a whole other freaking discourse we're about to dive into that I'm not looking forward to filling my Twitter timeline. You feel me? So I can't wait for the season to start just because this entire process has been super weird. And then you have the LA Sparks drafting Sarah Ashley Barker when they don't even have rosters. But like, there's a chance that Sarah Ashley Barker gets cut because y'all dumbasses want to draft a guard when you have 1,000 guards already. And are you going to cut some of the guards you already had there? Like, are you cutting Ari McDonald for Sarah Ashley Barker? Why were you drafting Sarah Ashley Barker if you know you didn't even have the spot to keep her? You picked up Kelsey Plum. What you need another guard for? Y'all didn't make up your mind yet, LA? Huh? Y'all didn't make your mind up? With Paige, it would have been a simple decision. Oh, yeah, we got Paige here. Cool. We don't need no Kelsey Plum. Trade somewhere else. That might have happened. That might have happened after the draft, after the draft lottery. But still, if you're bringing in Paige to LA, you cutting somebody else. So, we all know how that would play out. But yeah, I'm done with preseason. I'm done with preseason, and it's been about an hour. I'm also done with this live stream, which is why I want to give my biggest thanks to you guys for checking out this live stream, spending some time with me. I know the Seattle Storm Connecticut Sun game, preseason game, still going on right now. Storm should be blowing them out. Zia Cook is playing, and I'm over here live streaming, which is crazy. I know, right? Anyway, it's your number one WNBA husband checking in. 2026 CBA, we letting that thought out. You feel me? New money, new salary negotiations. We gonna let that thought out. You know what I'm saying? Birkin bags for the men. You know what I'm saying? Catch me courtside supporting my queen and shit. You know what I mean? Uh, Other than that, man, I'm ready to get this season started, bro. I think this season's going to be really close. I think, like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot of parity. So, um, I think it's going to be the most parity in a long time, like in a long time. So that's going to do it for this live stream, man. I appreciate y'all checking it out. I want to make sure I read any comments, but my computer is messing up real quick. So let me just check. Okay, we're still live here, but my comp is kind of, hopefully it's not shutting down on your end. Maybe this is a good time to shut it down because for some reason my broadcast kind of shut down on the desktop. So I had to check and make sure everyone's still okay. But if you're still here, I appreciate you. I'm going to sign off now though anyway. Thank you for checking out the live stream. We'll probably be live streaming again this Friday. But keep it locked on the channel for for the new videos that I end up editing and cutting, because I still have to do the WNBA awards, even though I touched on some of it in this live stream. Until next time, I'll see you guys. When I see you guys, take care, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.